Cheers everyone, happy Friday. Hello and welcome, my name's Marie and this is my yarn journey. Hope you are well. I've got my lovely morning coffee. It's been a bit of rushing around getting ready to record this morning and doing all the usual errands. We've started doing a morning walk. I'm not sure if I mentioned that last week. We're doing at the minute a half-hour brisk walk in the morning, which is roughly working out at around 4,000 steps. So it's a pretty good start to the day. And hopefully it will improve my fitness and health. Today I am wearing my outline tee. I'm wearing it with some new trousers that I got from the like sort of the thin cotton that looks like denim sort of pants. And unfortunately, because I am quite short, they fall at a really weird length, so I think I will need to actually get them taken up. But they're very much thin like my other summer pants, so I thought they would be a really nice change, and they're a brighter colour. But I thought it looked okay with my outline tee. I know you probably can't see much of it because it's quite close to the camera today, but I'll just stand up a bit. I think it needs a bit of a deep hill now. But I love this tee. This was made with the Isla yarn that was for the Woolly Good Gathering. It was the colourway for the show, the first year it was done. And yeah, I really do like Isla's yarns. They're always very, very high quality. I have just been getting the bits out of my cupboard because I want to talk about my next few projects, and maybe you can come up with some ideas for me. But I learned something new. The outline tee. It's by Jessie Made Designs. I forgot to tell you that. I'm sure everyone knows it's quite a popular pattern, and I made it without the actual outline parts because I didn't want to do that. But I love the way this fits. Really comfortable, loose summer top, and the yarn is half silk, half wool, so it's a fantastic blend for the UK summer. Anyway, my side tangent was I went in the cupboard to get some yarns out to talk about my future projects and get some ideas from you, and it reminded me because in there was my other Isla yarn, the one that I was using for the Calm Down cardigan, which my mum frogged for me. Now, when I was knitting up the Avenue tee with the frogged yarn, I was not happy with the tension at all, and it looked very uneven in places. And normally my tension is pretty good. I do get, because I'm a tighter knitter, I do tend to get a nice even tension with my knitting. And I was like a bit disappointed. It hasn't fully blocked out. It has partially blocked out. It looks neater now it's been blocked again. But Vanessa from My Creative Garage had watched it, and she'd mentioned about soaking your yarn. So when you frog your yarn, I have heard of people soaking it and all that, but I just thought, oh, that's just to make it stupid as it may sound. I thought, oh, that's just to make it easier to knit with again. I thought the process of re-knitting the yarn would sort of counteract any memory it's got in there. Obviously that was wrong, and what would have been better, and she'd suggested to me, was the soaking. Now I'm presuming that if I wanted to soak it again, I would maybe have to put it back into a skein. I mean, I've just got it in balls at the moment, my frog yarn. So does anyone know the process, what I'd need to do if I want to soak any frogged yarn to take the memory out of it, and how I go about drying it and stuff without it getting into some sort of massive yarn tangle, because I hate yarn tangles with a passion. I really don't understand people who like undoing yarn tangles. I just get frustrated and I end up cutting it out and putting it in the bin because I just can't do it. Or yeah, sometimes I get mum involved if I don't want to do that. Because yeah, I don't think she minds undoing tangles, but no, it's no fun for me. I just get really mad. But yeah, so if you know of any videos on YouTube or techniques, I've not had a look yet, but I thought if anyone can recommend anything, that would probably be the best thing. The Isle yarn, because it is a DK weight, it's got quite a lot of alpaca. I'm not sure it will need soaking, but somebody with more experience can let me know. I didn't actually block that garment, and it only is part of the yarn that's been used and then frogged. Obviously that yarn is a very special yarn, luxurious yarn, and I'd want to do the best I can with that, and I will do any prepping that I need to do to knit it up again. Initially I was thinking I might do the pearl sweater, but the thing with the pearl sweater is, and using the alpaca might, well, it's a blend, I can't remember the actual blend of it, but it's got alpaca in it, might work in my favour for that, for opening up the neckline, because the only thing I'm worried about with that pearl sweater is I have, it's quite a higher neck. Well, it's not a high neckline, it's a crew neck, but I'm not sure if I'm going to like that. And when I've seen the fit of it on some people, I'm a bit like, is that the one? So I don't know whether I need to keep trying to look for the right pattern for that yarn. But when I do come to use it again, I want to make sure that it's going to be as good as it possibly can be. So yeah, any help, advice, suggestions with that would be fantastic. Now I'm just sat here thinking I've gone on this massive side tangent with all this stuff, and I've not even got my projects out of my basket, although it is only there. So I will just get them now. And I have only worked on 2 projects this week. I have not been, I've not done loads of knitting, not as much as normal, should I say. I have been quite busy with work, been a few things going on, and also for any of you that are planners or do digital planning or any type of planning at all, I have been thoroughly distracted and down into a black hole of planning, and I got a new digital planner this week, the blooming one, and I have been sorting that out for next week, and it really has distracted me from a lot of things. Yeah, but it's been fun anyway. I have definitely made progress though with the knitting. Just let me I keep going to take a sip of this brew and then talking again and not having any. Oh, if you do hear any snuffles, coughs, anything like that, hay fever's pretty bad at the moment. Hope you're not suffering if you have it. My eyes are quite scratchy today, and my nose has been pretty sore. That coffee is lovely. Okay, so the main project of the week has been my Midland Cardigan by Laura Penrose. And the only reason I didn't work on this, the little bit of time I had for knitting yesterday, is because I have just picked up for the button band. Now, this is another garment where I think that I should have soaked this yarn before knitting with it again, because it would have just made it look so much neater. I think garter can sometimes look a little bit more, not scruffy, but more on the casual vibe. And I can notice a massive difference. So here on the sleeve, excuse the bit where I made a little mistake. We won't we won't look at that. Here is the lovely even garter stitch where I was using a brand new skein of yarn. And then let's show you a wonky bit in the body. See, I've got some bits where I've added new yarn and some bits where I've got... So I'm just going to find a section. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. It's harder to tell really, but I hope you can kind of see if I move it along. It just does look a bit more, yeah, scruffy is the word I'd use on it, with this. And it's just not even tension, is it? Because, and it clearly is, because the memory in the yarn. Anyways, this is very tricky to show you now, and I don't think I can try it on, unfortunately, because look, it's quite bunched up on the needles. Now, I will just hold it up the way it's supposed to be, but bear in mind, it's not going to look like this, because both sleeves are done. At the moment, the sleeves are hitting, I'd say, bracelet length. So bearing in mind that most of the yarn in both of these sleeves is brand new yarn, so not yet been blocked. So I'm hoping that they'll relax ever so slightly. If they could come to that, it would be great. It was nice when I tried it on. It seemed to fit well. The other thing is, I'm hoping that I get a little bit more length in the body, but even if it stays the way it is, it will be fine. I've picked up all these stitches. Did this Wednesday evening, and this is for the double knit button band. I've never done a double knit button band, or have I done a button band years ago? I must have done, because I used to do, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I probably have in one of my earlier videos. When I used to do a lot of knitting, when I was younger, when it was all pattern books and all that sort of thing, I used to do a lot of Prem baby patterns. And you ask yourself who they were for? Nobody. I didn't even finish them and give them away to charities. So what I used to do was do these lovely little cute Prem baby knitting patterns, do them to about 3/4 of the way through, and then never finish them. I must have finished some of them, but looking back on it, that's how it felt. There did end up being a lot of whips in the loft, and I don't even know where they went to this day. But I used to, yeah, I had this certain, I just remember this pattern book. The things we do, I could have given them all away if I'd have thought about it. I could have sent them to a neonatal unit somewhere. So I'm a bit gutted at myself that I didn't do that, because it seems silly when I used to get quite a lot of joy out of knitting them patterns. I think what held me back a lot of the time was I didn't like the sewing up. Well, you know, as with all knitting, it's practice makes perfect. So I should have just, you know, cracked on with it. But, or maybe what I should have done is been knitting them and then found someone else to sew them up for me. I think today's video is going to be named Side Tangents, because that seems to be what the vibe today, doesn't it? Anyway, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to getting this finished. I am so close. And if you didn't see or don't know, the yarn that I'm using for this is a John Arbon Textiles, and it's the Appledore DK, and it's in the colour Quench. I am a little bit concerned as this is quite rustic. I'm hoping over time that it will soften, because I have found that although my woolly knit comb that I use for my Paul sweater, when I first made that, I wasn't sure that I was going to like that sweater, and I now love that sweater. I would say that that is one of my favourite winter sweaters that I've knit for myself. I absolutely love it. It's warm, it's cosy, and it just feels like a big hug when I wear it. And it just turned out the perfect size. That's by Morka Knits, if you haven't heard of the pattern. Now, I knit that in a woolly knit cone. When I was knitting it, a merino cone, sorry. And I'm used to merino being quite soft, being lovely. That wasn't that at all. And I don't know if that's because that's a budget-friendly merino yarn. But I found with mine especially, there was quite a bit of unevenness in the yarn, thick and thin areas, patches where it hadn't been dyed. Overall now, I would 100% use that yarn again, because what it is a very robust yarn, and it's still a soft merino, although it's not as soft as the ones I've had before. It doesn't really pill. It's lovely and soft. Like I say, robust. I think that sweater's going to last me a long time, and it's just so comfortable now. After a few, it used to itch me a bit around the neck, but after a few wears, not at all. And to be fair, I would definitely knit that sweater again. But this, what's the makeup of this? I can never remember. So this to me feels very rustic. I'm definitely a person who prefers lovely soft yarns, not rustic ones. I just they prickle me quite easily. This is 40% Devon close wool, 40% Romney, and 40% Exmoor Blueface. And I think most people who use rustic yarns would not say this is rustic, but it feels it to me. It's like it's crisp. It's a bit of a crispiness to the yarn. It's been fine to knit with, a little bit splitty, but not too bad. It's just that I'm worried, because when I did have it I thought it was going to be very itchy. Being in a cardigan, which was AJ's suggestion, so thank you for that. I will generally have a top underneath this. Or I definitely will, sorry. I'm not going to go around with it without a top under, because number one, it'll probably itch me. And I don't know how dense it's going to be with the garter stitching, maybe a little bit open. Who knows, we shall see. Hopefully, I'm hoping that this will actually mean that this yarn is going to be pretty robust, and it will last me quite a while. With it being cardigan, you know, it'd be a nice like cardigan stroke jacket, throw on all the time over things, and yeah, hopefully not pill much. But like I say, I'm just about to start on this double knit button band. It's not something I've done before. The side tangent about the previous knitting was to say that I probably have done button bands, but I can't remember. I've definitely not done a double knit as far as I'm aware. Vaguely in the back of my mind, I'm thinking I've done like a standard ribbed one. But I knew that I needed, the reason I've paused on this, because I picked these up on Wednesday, not long before I was going to bed, and then I've paused on it because I knew I needed to concentrate on the pattern, not have any distractions, and once I'd set going, I'd be absolutely fine. But I have marked it up for the buttons. There's 4 buttons on here. Yeah, it's quite exciting to think that I will have this finished very soon. And I think that it you know, if I can tolerate wearing it, it's going to be a lovely garment, I think, in the end. I just hope that, you know, blocking does its magic again and it does turn out not looking too scruffy or too rustic, or I don't know, you know what I'm trying to say, as I'm trying to make my pieces look neater. Oh, and that's in a, actually, there's a theme today with the project bags, as you can see. Tea Cake and Makes. Lovely, lovely bags. Very handy, these ones, I find, because they're perfect if you want to stick a project in your handbag. If you have a big handbag, these fit in really nicely because they're very, very lightweight, or into any other sort of bag, your backpack or whatever. So when you're traveling, these will be great as well. So yeah, that's all that I wanted to say about the Midland Cardigan by Laura Penrose. It's an unusual construction. It's an interesting pattern. It's knit side to side. I'm not sure if you're aware or if I've mentioned that recently. I found the patterns are very in-depth, a very wordy pattern, but I think a lot of the information is needed because it is such an unusual construction, and also your row gauge can have a massive impact on the way that pattern turns out. Now, I started it once and frogged it because it wasn't going to turn out big enough. In fact, I do find that I've not done enough garter stitch projects yet to be able to properly read my gauge. And because it's quite stretchy, it's hard to know if you're reading it accurately. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that one. The second project is my Everyday Attitude, and I think this is by Susanne Sommer, but I better check that for you. I'll just get Ravelry up on my iPad. I'm sure that is who it is, but these days I can't trust my memory for names. Yep, Susanne Sommer, so I did remember that right. Now, what I do want to say about this, and what I've just realised I've forgotten to bring something else. Now, I picked this up. Now, feeling this in comparison to that, the worlds apart. This is absolutely lush. And it's absolutely lovely. Seeing the colours again. It's beautifully soft yarn. And I'll remind you again what yarn I'm using. So I got my blue yarn, which is my main colour, from East Anglia Yarn Festival. And it is Craft House Magic. And this is the colourway Night Shift. For some reason I keep wanting to call it Nightshade, but it's Night Shift, and it's 425 meters in 100 grams. It's a 4-ply yarn, and it's a standard sock, 75%, 25% nylon, superwash merino. Now, this pattern is a pleasure to knit on, with the stripes being 2 row stripes because it makes the garter row. Other garter row bumps is two rows. It's lovely to knit on. I don't mind purling, so it's 1 knit row, 1 purl row, and that's fine by me. I'm wondering, actually, looking at this, and it's not something I've thought of before, because people do say they have tension differences from purl to knits. I think I look pretty even. I think, if anything, it's just a slight tension change from knitting flat to knitting in the round. I think my tension's ever so slightly better when I am knitting flat. And yeah, I do think that this garment is going to be absolutely beautiful, and it's going to be lovely to wear against skin. The second colour, which is the contrast colour, is a Blue Fern Yarns, and it's my Christmas Day skein from my Advent. And again, that's a superwash merino, so it will grow a little bit. Now, the thing that I wanted to do, and I've not brought my scales, so I'll go and get that in a minute, is now have a look at the garment. I'll hold it up against me and hopefully it's not making a crackling on my mic. And just so you can, I don't know if you'll be able to see this far down onto my body. I'll stand up. In comparison to this top, I don't know if I'm holding it up right, though I do need to try this on, I think is what I'm trying to say. But I'm worried about what yarn I've got left, because this is all I've got. So I'm going to get my scales and then I can weigh this and see what I want to do. Thought I'd lost my scales then. They were just hiding under all the other stuff in those little drawers in my cabinet. Right, I'm just going to, what I'll do actually is I'll just pop it on the floor down here. So sorry for the bending forwards. And then we'll just see what I've got left. So my contrast colour is 25.7 grams. And my main colour is 22.6 grams. Now, the thing I'm worried about is, and I think I've come up with a solution, but I'm not sure. So let's have a look on the pattern quickly. Because there is some finishings, but it's very small finishings, but I can't remember exactly what it is on the neckline. I think it's a folded hem. Where are we? Right, so the blue is what I've got the least of, and that's the 22 grams. There is an armhole finish. Yeah. Right, yeah, so there's a little tiny blue edge, and I presume it's, yeah, it looks as though it might be an I-cord. Neckline finish. Right, so the neckline is a rolled stockinette. So it's wondering what to do. I was thinking what I could do, because I don't really want to cut the yarn. And then as well, how much am I going to use for the folded hem? Or would I be better just to do an I-cord? Is that going to take up less? Let me see what it says on the body here. So again, actually, blah, 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 blah. Oh, right. So it's a folded stockinette, and you do, I think you do 10 rows, then you do a purl bump for your fold line, and then you do another 10 rows and then bind off. So I was thinking the best thing for me to do is to do a centre pull, so I don't have to cut the yarn. I know it'll be a bit of yarn management, but I'm sure it'll be fine because it's only a few rows. And then do my neckline finishes and do my arm finishes, because I don't really want this to be too cropped either. So, you know, I feel as though I am playing a little bit of yarn chicken here. And I don't want to run out of yarn. How much do we think I'm going to need for... Well, I know what I could do. I could estimate, couldn't I? Because I could weigh it before I do a knit round with the blue and weigh it after and see how much I use. And then I can equate to approximately 22 rounds. Maybe that would be the... And I've got my bind off, haven't I? So yeah, there might be a way for me to guesstimate what I'm going to use. But I suppose what I could do is do my neckline and arm finishes over the weekend, use a centre pull, then work out how much approximately I think I'm going to use grams wise for the folded hem. And when I get to the point where I've got about that much left, I could then assess whether I think the body is going to be long enough with those rounds. I suppose the other option is, and I've just thought, I could actually, to get me a bit more length if I need to, I could use the contrast colour after the pearl bump on the other side of the hem, couldn't I? Yes, that is a way to extend it a bit, so I'm glad I've thought of that, but I'll make a note of it on my pattern so I don't forget, because I possibly could. So do you think that's a good idea? So let me just type this in, write this in here, contrast colour. Hopefully I'll remember what that means. Yeah, so it's good to discuss these things on here with you because it does help me think things through and clarify things a bit better. But I am really, really pleased with this top. It's been, you know, a lovely knit. I love the colours, that combination with these two, and it's a lovely way to use up you know, a unique hand-dyed skein, but make it look like a cohesive wearable garment. And I'm really pleased that I decided to do this. Now I have got that other garter stitch top that I'm tempted to do, but it is just with me. The thing what throws me off with these things is not being able to read my gauge. But that, again, it's a practice thing, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how they're going. This one is very easy. I don't even have to look at the pattern. It's just a pick. Oh, and I didn't show you. The it's got this absolutely lovely slip stitch edging detail. And I don't know why one side is much neater than the other. But yeah, I think that looks beautiful. And you know what? Again, it's an intuitive thing. It's not difficult to do. I'll say the only thing that's more difficult about this pattern, if in relation to beginner knitting, is how it started at the beginning. But again, that might be another good one to do in my beginner knitter series. I've got a few ideas really, because summer tops I do like. I really do enjoy knitting a summer top. Okay, so that's all the projects that I've been working on this week. And I also just wanted to talk to you about these yarns. I know I've talked about them before recently, but I've not made any solid decisions yet. And talking about things on here, you normally come up with great ideas for me. You know, hence why I'm now knitting this yarn into this cardigan, which was a lovely suggestion from AJ about using this yarn in a usable garment, because it's, you know, I feel as though it might be a bit more scratchy on me. And yeah, so I think I showed you these two recently, which is two summer yarns I've got, and I'm just thinking about my next new cast-ons. Although I am enjoying picking up a few of my languishing whips and getting round to them, because, you know, this cardigan's going to be finished very, very soon, and I've got another wearable garment. Not that it's the weather for a woolly cardigan, but you know, and I don't think it'll take me too long to get that garter stitch top finished. Well, it can't, can it? I've hardly got yarn left. Anyways, I was again thinking about these 3 yarns, should I say. So this is my new yarn from Chromatic Yarns Afternoon Tea Collection, the macarons. Still not decided what top, and I really want this to be one of the next cast-ons. Maybe a sleeveless one might be quite nice. And then yeah, I've got, oh, I'm just throwing it now. Let's see if I can reach one out of this pack. It's gone behind the camera. Okay, and I've got this Katia yarn, which is Linen Natural Select. So it's 53% cotton and 47% linen. And it's a beautiful colour. I would like to find something nice. I've got, what's the meterage on this? 112 meters. So I've got 448 meters in total. And then this Lang Quattro. Now I keep changing my mind on this. I keep thinking, should I be brave and make this beautiful yarn in this bright red colour into a the garment that I was planning, which I'll put on the side for you, because I worry about things being fitted against my stomach, under my bust. But paired with the right trousers or skirt, I think it would look lovely as a date night top. Or should I make it into something else? Now, I was toying with the fact that I could have paired these two together because they are both DK, I think. Let me just, yeah, because this is 120, this is a sport probably, is it? 120 meters in 50 grams with this one. So it's a slightly thinner yarn than that one. This one is 100% cotton, I think. Yep, 100% cotton. So what do you think? Should I be brave, make something totally different? I was always drawn to that top and make it into a nice date night top that I can wear with trousers. And then when I was thinking about pairing it with this one, to be fair, it would look quite nice with the texture difference. If you can see, one's matte. My hair gets everywhere, doesn't it? One is matte and one is a bit more of a shiny, silky texture. But then I was thinking I've already got a similar pairing in my Eclipse top, which is the merino cotton from Knitting for Olive, and that's in like a pinky colour. And then I've got the Toadstool from Dystopic Fibres in there. So yeah, and I just need to come up with something for this. I really want to decide, but you know, when a yarn is so beautiful, I've got 2 skeins of this yarn. So I have got 800 meters. This is an 85-15, lovely and soft. Got quite a few pairs of pants and trousers and jeans that this would look great with once it's knit up into a garment. Probably I would like to do something sleeveless. Now, Lily Kate France has got a top in testing at the moment. I can't remember what it's called. Lovely sleeveless top with a tiny bit of lacing around the edge. But I don't think that this yarn is the one for that. And I think that's a DK top, actually. And she did that in Cardiff Cashmere, which is a light DK weight, and she used 6 balls, she said. Now, she's obviously a lot smaller size than me, so yeah, I'd like to know how much yarn I would need for that, because I would then be able to see if I've got something in stash or not. I've seen that made in a beautiful red colour, and that's nice. Another option is I am leaning it more into blues at the moment, as you've seen with the top there that I showed you. But I'm not sure. Have you seen that Lily Kate pattern? I'll put a picture up. Is that on your queue or your radar for doing? I would like to have the yarn ready. The only thing I'm bothered about with that is that when I was doing the, I've just thought, I was making another of her tops that was similar, and it's just made me think about it because of the gauge. Now, originally I was knitting that pattern off gauge, and I think it's a yarn from Five for the People I was using, and it was a long time ago now because I was knitting on it on the Norfolk Broads, and it's like a burnt orangey colour, and it is I think it's a cotton wool combination. Lovely yarn to work with, but my gauge was way much tighter than the pattern for the underlace top, and I didn't factor in, even though I did all the maths and I was happy and it was going to turn out the right size and everything, what I didn't factor in was the fact that the lace would be altered by my tension, and then I struggled with the lace. So I really, really, really want that Lily Kate France top, the new one that she's doing, whatever that's called, in my wardrobe, but I need to figure out what yarn I'm going to use, and that yarn could be a potential, in fact, but I'd have to hold it double, so I'd have to see if I've got enough. And I am a bit like that over the lace, but I can always rip it out and do it again if it's wrong, and if I make sure this time that I'm on gauge for the pattern, the lace should turn out the way that it's the size that it's expected. Yeah, so lots of side tangents today, lots of general chit chat. Anything else to catch you up on? Oh, I don't think so, apart from the fact I'm still reading this book. I think I showed it you a couple of weeks ago. It's one of the ones that I got from the book shop in Ambleside. I'm not sure if it's one I'd recommend. It's set in Rome in 1656, and yeah, if you don't like disturbing things happening to children, there's a bit of that at the beginning of the book. It's not heavy on it, but there's a couple of the graphic scenes which are, yeah, if it's not your thing, then it's not. If I'd have known that was in there, I may not have picked this up. But once I'm so far into a book, and if it's not terrible, I do want to get to the end and read it. It is an enjoyable book, but it's kind of one of them that I'm hoping the end lifts it. If not, I am glad to be starting on the next one soon. I'm not too bad through it. Yeah, I've got a few on the bookshelf that I'm looking forward to getting on with. And this weekend is going to be quite a quiet one. A couple of the boys are off, so my fella and one of the boys are off fishing, hopefully. And yeah, just going to be plenty of knitting time. So I'm hoping that I will get this button band done this weekend, and obviously crack on with the no frills, which you see I've done no progress on this week, which is bad, but I'm halfway through that sleeve. The rest of the sleeve shouldn't take me too long. It was quite hard on my hands, and then I picked up the Midland cardigan and I couldn't put it down. So apologies for that video being delayed. I'm also hoping to work on very soon a few little stitch videos, because a few people have been asking for that. So hopefully that'll be done as well. And I think you just heard the dog snoring away then in the background. But that is everything for today. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, whatever you are doing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.